What's up, everybody? How's it going? And welcome to the Minute Channel. Today we're going to be talking about something that I guess is for due to actually celebrate. Is the 4th anniversary of the Nintendo Switch. It's hard to believe that it's already been 4 years of this console. Overall, it's just been a wild ride. I'll be honest. I remember when this was first announced. I was in my bedroom just watching the Nintendo Direct when they just suddenly announced the Nintendo Switch. Now, before that, there was even some rumors about this, but I'll be honest with you guys, I never really thought this was gonna take off the way that it did. I thought it was a cool idea, but I really didn't think it was like the idea. I didn't think it was gonna be as popular as it is. I thought it was a little kind of almost interesting concept, but it was something that I didn't know if it was going to work or not, especially coming out from the Wii U, which wasn't really successful or anything. But alongside with the release of the Nintendo Switch, they also announced a really big game, which was Nintendo Zelda Breath of the Wild, which by the way had been delayed to hell, which I don't know if at this point is known whether this is because of the Nintendo Switch or other reasons, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of people were worried about this, or at least wanting to know what was going on with the system at the time and everything. So today we're just going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Nintendo Switch. So let's go ahead and talk about the goods. So overall, the good of the game, the console, really, this just the amount of good consoles, games that have been really just coming out on the system. Overall, like I can't even imagine, but the Nintendo Switch, being only 4 years old, had a really big games. The games, for example, like I mentioned, Zelda Breath of the Wild. Not only that, but we actually had yearly releases of Zelda games. Obviously not as big as Breath of the Wild, but some other really big games as well, including this year with the new release of Calamity, the new Zelda Warriors games, which, by the way, wasn't bad at all by any stretch of the imaginations either. Besides that, not only that, but we also had some re-releases for a lot of really big games such as Xenoblade Chronicles, or even recently with the re-release of the announced Zelda game. So it's just been a lot of really good games coming out for it. Some of my personal favorites, like I mentioned before, the Xenoblade Chronicles and even Zelda Breath of the Wild. Those games really just overall just had a really good performance in the game. It just played great, it looked fantastic, it just make everything about the Switch awesome. Even some besides this, we also had some obviously big releases such as the Pokemon games and Luigi's Mansion and a lot of Mario games. Overall, it's just been a really big in first party games. But it's not only first party games, there's been a massive amount of ports of games coming to the Switch. Games like Borderlands and BioShock and Resident Evil. Honestly, like the game's just been getting support from both first party and third party, to the point that it's just being like there is almost too many games on the Switch to play. In fact, recently the new Persona game, Persona 5 Strikers, came out to Switch, which was really one of the biggest requested games, I feel like, from a lot of people in the community with Atlas. They really wanted some Persona 5, so to actually see this game coming out on the Switch was also pretty good. The game performed pretty well, it looked really good, and of course it performed at the 30 FPS, which is the limitations of this console. So let's go ahead and jump right into the bad, which is that the limitations of the console. Well, this console has been coming out for some time now. I feel like there's also been some stuff that hasn't been super stellar in that aspect. I feel like while it does perform well and it does have the capability to be taken on the go at 720p, it does leave a lot to be desired when it comes to performance. Now, not all games perform bad. I feel like that's usually a really bad notion to think about. A lot of the games perform really well on Switch, especially if you know the first party games just perform well overall. However, when you look at the third party library, you start seeing a lot of games that perform really poorly in a lot of aspects. You will be almost unplayable to play, but somehow the magic of it makes it happen, even if it just looks bad, or even, like I said, like frame rate just bad. Overall, just I guess a give and take. For some reason, you have to give something and take something in return. You take the portability aspect, you have to lose some of that aspect when it comes to a performance. I think as long as you, the player, is aware of these things priorly to actually picking up the console and everything, you should be good to go. I mean, there's absolutely no reason for that. And overall, just even with that performance issues, I still believe that the console has been doing great because of the amount of games and the large amount of library that it done. Not only that, but there's also been some really good ports to coming out on the Switch. I think that's what it really shines, is some third-party developers have been able to do so well with the Switch when it comes to the performance. I don't know how they do it. I don't know what the magic they're working behind scenes, but it's really nice to see all of these games that aren't really supposed to be performing on Switch actually working pretty well. So that's actually pretty good. Although it's a bad, I think it's also pretty good, Pro. But the last thing we're going to talk about is the ugly. Now, the ugly is going to be the online system. I know a lot of people are going to talk about this. I know some people have been talking about it, but Nintendo really needs to fix this part. I think that this is where they lack the most. It's actually the reason why I haven't been able to play online with friends. In fact, there's a lot of things that I wanted to do with the channel. When it comes to the online presence, I wanted to do some tournaments. I wanted to do some, play with some of the viewers and everything. But honestly, makes it so hard to do when it comes to this because of the performance of the game. The game, when it comes to the online system, it just does not perform well at all. These connections, or even just when you're playing, for example, Super Smash Bros, is sometimes unplayable. Sometimes you'll lose because of the situation and everything. Even some games like Mario Kart, or even some other games like Mario Party, still have some issues, which I still again don't understand why Mario Party will have online issues, because it's Mario Party game. But again, it does, and it's just crazy to me. At this point, the reason to get the online system for Nintendo is really for the amount of Nintendo NES games and future games that we'll probably get at some point. However, I don't know, even then, when you look at the library of games that they have shown so far, I don't really particularly feel like they have done that well when it comes to that aspect. Again, that's just my personal opinion here, but I just don't really feel like they have done that much of an effort to put really good games. I don't feel like while they have some bangers on the NES and the other systems they had at it so far, I don't really feel like they had done really good of a job. I think they could even do better. In fact, a lot of these games have actually only come out in Japan, which also makes me upset about it, because I'm like, well, if the European or the Western market or the American market is really just paying as much as the Japanese market, we should be getting the same quality and the same games that they are getting. It's just not fair at all. Anyway, that is pretty much in this video here, just celebrating, talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Nintendo Switch, celebrating the 4th year anniversary of the system. Let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite things about the Switch? I know a lot of people that love their Switch for a lot of different reasons, so let me know, what are your favorite 4 games in the console? Right now, I'll tell you mine as Persona 5 Strikers, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Xenoblade Chronicles, and of course the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this, and I'll see you guys next time.